Alright, welcome. This is Russ Moody, and this is another Warhammer Battle Report featuring Lord Orcurius and the once and future Orc King. And this one is a little bit different. I decided to take a break from playing Orcs and Goblins and ran a Skaven list. This is the Skaven versus my wife's Bretonnians, and it's 3,000 points, and it was turned into a Blood and Glory scenario, which I think actually played to my advantage. First thing we're going to go over is the table. We've got a big overview here of everything, and what we've got is there's two buildings, one on either side of the board, and then that's actually a Blessed Bulwark over there, but it didn't factor in. There's a woods, which turned out to be an Abyssal Wood, and there's a Earthblood Mere in the center there, two rivers in the corners, and a hill. And that's the board. The Bretonnians won the roll-off, chose sides, and deployed first, and we'll go right on into Bretonnian deployment. Alright, a little bit, this list is mainly knights. There's two blocks of large peasants, and the first one is, right here you see this is her left flank, my right, and we got about 43, 44 men-at-arms there, and there's a level 1 damsel in the corner there. And then next to that is a small unit of Knights of the Realm with a Bretonnian Lord that has heroic killing blow. And then going on to the next picture, we see that we've got another large group of knights, I think 8 of them. And in the front there's actually 3 characters. There's a Bretonnian Lord and then 2 paladins. The one's the BSB. And next to that is those are knights of they're Grail Knights. There's I think 7 of them, and there's another level 1 damsel, and then in the middle there's a level 4 beasts damsel in the middle of the Knights of the Realm. Going on over near the right flank, you see it kind of isn't that good of a picture. There's a huge unit of knights of Knights Errant. There's about 15 of them, so full rank, and then there's the Pegasus Knights. They haven't vanguarded forward yet. And behind that is around 30 some odd, between 30 and 40 archers on the hill. Next, moving on, we're going to move on to the Skaven deployment, and this is across from the hill on my left. This is I've got a big unit of 56 slaves with spears, and then there's a Doomwheel and another Doomwheel in between each one. And next to the other Doomwheel is we see we've got another unit that's about 44 or so, something like that. 45. It might have been as many as 50. Those are again slaves with just a hand whip and shield. And then next to that is my Warlord. He's on the back of a Rat Ogre Bonebreaker, and there's 5 Rat Ogres there. And then you can see a Warp Fire Thrower. And then bunkered in the back in a unit of 30 Clan Rats is a Gracier and BSB. And then moving over, we've got 38 Storm Vermin, and then there's a character in there. And then next to that in the woods is the frenzied big unit of 45 or so Plague Monks. And then behind that I've got a unit of 6 Censer Bearers, and to on the far right there's another unit of Censer Bearers. And then a little bit about my list. Is that it's definitely not it's a very hard list. It's very tricky, and given the scenario, she kind of knew what she was getting into. So I was really liking the situation. Skaven are very good in this situation, in this scenario, as they don't give up points easy with the big blocks of troops, and everything's bunkered. But we'll go on right to the Vanguard move. And the Vanguard, the Peg Knights moved kind of in front of everything to draw up Frenzy, or just I think she felt they were out of position, and so moved them over. And yeah, so that's the Vanguard, and we'll go right next to Skaven turn 1. So Skaven turn 1 right here, and pretty much everything just moves forward. The Censer Bearers spread out on the flank there, and the Plague Monks march out of the woods. The other group of Censer Bearers then occupies those woods, because there's no reason not to. The Abyssal Wood makes you cause fear, I believe, something like that. And going over the storm vermin actually, I think, oh, they moved up to be kind of uh, turned a little bit so that anything that charges in there, the rat ogres can get to the flank. And then the thing is also about those rat ogres is that I tried to charge the Pegasus Knights with, and that's actually a failed charge with those rat ogres. So and then everything else kind of moved up. The slaves move up. The Doom Wills all move forward rather slowly. The one rolled a 10, so he stayed exactly even pretty much with the slaves. And then the other one I think only rolled like a 7 or something on 3 dice. So going pretty slow there. It rolled right over the river and passed its dangerous terrain test. So magic phase, I cast Vermintide because I had a Plague Priest in the Plague Monks, and that was his spell, and I expected it to get dispelled, and what happened is yeah, she just really poor rolling on the part of the Bretonnians. I rolled not very well to get it off, and that level 4 damsel totally should have stopped it, and then failed to stop it, and so kind of gave this game a free reign. But anyway, and what happened is it killed a couple of guys. And then next, which allowed me also the problem with bunkering my Gracier, I find out, is that he can't really function in the role that I'd like him to because he really couldn't see anything. He was out of range of everything. So I'm going to have to maybe rethink and go back to the way I usually run him, which is just have him jump back and forth amongst the slave units. But right here, I got off Warp Lightning and killed a Pegasus Knight. So that was good and bad on the other side. And then next we got shooting phase. I fire off the Doom Rocket. It goes a little short, but still, as you can see, it covers a ton of those guys. And the next guy is that there's all those dead archers. And my thought here was that I'll fire the Doom Rocket here. They're not maybe the best target because it might be better to fire it into that huge group of knights there. Except for one thing is they're outside. They're too far away from the BSB and the general, and so I was thinking that I could panic them off. But they were testing off of a nearby knight's leadership, I think, so leadership 7 or 8 or whatever, but either way, they got like a 6, so they didn't go anywhere. Alright, going on to Bretonnia turn 1, and they just, the thing says charge, and that's pretty much exactly she just charged everything, just straight right at, no hesitation, just everything charged in. And I don't know if that was necessarily the best move. It looked at the time, it looked pretty devastating, and I was like, oh crap. And so what you see here is the men-at-arms move in against those Plague Monks, and I think the goal here is that there's more ranks of them, and then that other knight group is joining in the fight, and the idea, I think, was to win combat, and then I wouldn't be steadfast and just shatter my Plague Monks in just one fell blow. Going over. This this is the big bus of Knights of the Realm, and they charged in, and then they originally, I mean, I actually had to debate this for a while because I was thinking about fleeing. Well, actually, I was gonna hold here, and then got charged with the Grail Knights, and that were next to him, and I thought about fleeing, except for I decided to hold, and the reason I held was that if I fled, then it allows she could have just redirected right into my bunker, which was where my Gracier was, and my BSB in the back of the lines, because this unit right here is the one that's got Banner of Swiftness on it, and then there's the Bretonnian Lord in there has the Virtue of the Impetuous Knight, and so it can make a 21-inch charge, 22-inch charge, and so there was no. If I had just fled, then she probably could have just gone right into the unit right behind them, and so I decided I'd hold just to, just on the chance that, either way, just, and as it turned out, it actually turned out to be a good thing because while this unit made it no problem, the Grail Knights rolled a massive 4 inches for their charge. They got a 3, a 1, and a 1, and there they are, just sitting back there. And you'll see there's one dead knight who failed his dangerous terrain test, charging over that marsh. But yeah, they didn't even make it to to that marsh in front of them because they rolled so poorly. I mean, I think all they needed was probably a 6 to make it, because I think I was only about 14 inches away, and they got a 4. So that was just awesome luck on that. And then this huge bus of knights charged into these slaves, and I'm not so sure about this move either, because there's just too many of them, and and I think the idea was just to kind of have them just charge in there, and because my slaves aren't going to win combat, pretty much nobody's going to go anywhere, and I think the idea was just to tar pit everything, because you'll see next to him the Pegasus Knights end up charging that Doom Wheel, and this I thought actually was a pretty good move. There's another picture where the Peg Knights are in fighting the Doom Wheel. Doom Wheels don't like to be charged, so one thing you can keep that in mind is if you can get a charge on a Doom Wheel, do it. And there's the Bowman. The Bowman, I think they shot, and she rolled poorly on magic, so got like no spells off. I was able to stop any magic spells, and so that again was going for me. And then these guys decided to shoot at my Doom Wheel, which again is the other way you deal with these things. Is it got shot. She managed to do a wound to it, and it went out of control and almost careened right off the board. It was about 2 inches from pretty much leaving the game, and those archers almost scored 150 victory points. So going right here to the fight in the center, there's a Bretonnian lord in there, and I think she issued a challenge, or anyway, issued a challenge, I think, or either that or I did. But either way, I ended up in my character in there ends up in a challenge there. And here's the thing: he's got the other Trickster's Shard, and he's got the Sword of Anti-Heroes. Now this character thing is just a big character bus. So it's got there's 4 characters in there, and I've got the Sword of Anti-Heroes. So I issued this challenge, and I'm initiative 6, and the Bretonnian Lord is also initiative 6. And so they're going at the same time, and I'm thinking this is the ideal situation because I don't care about this. This is a chieftain, and I think he's about 95 points, and I'm going to take out this 100 and some odd, almost 200 point character with half the points because he's just so buffed up right now because of what's going on. And what ends up happening is he does I do 3 wounds to her guy, and he rolls, and there's no armor save because the strength is too high, and then rolls the ward saves, and so re-roll it, and then still gets that 5-up save, and so the Bretonnian Lord survives. And then doing back the attacks back, I'm like, oh crap, I'm gonna die, and then just kind of pretty much a complete fail, like whiffed. Managed to do 1, maybe 2 wounds, but I managed to save 1 somehow. So somehow he managed to survive, and I'm like, yes. And then the rest of the unit attacked and killed a whole bunch of those storm vermin, but not enough. I think she needed to chop through. It looks like about 2 or 3 more models, and 2 or 3 more models, and I would have not been steadfast and would have broken, but didn't quite break this unit. This unit held, and at that point I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a short game, because again over here this is the combat against the plague monks, and I activated their plague banner, and they just went to town. You can see there's just a whole host of dead men-at-arms guys, and the important thing is you'll see if I had killed 1 less of those guys, they would have stayed steadfast. But as it is, I killed just enough to take away steadfast from that unit. And on the other side, the other thing that helped is they pretty much did very little. They killed 4 or 5 plague monks. Even with that, there's a heroic killing blow lord, which is the general, and he's in that unit, and I think he killed. I don't know. He's the only one who killed anything. He killed like 3 or 4 by himself, and then the unit got maybe 1 or 2 kills. That's the unit of knights. They just whiffed everything, and so I actually ended up winning this combat by a ton, and breaking them and running them down. Both the knights fled, got an 8. The men-at-arms fled, got an 8. And then I got a 9 on my pursuit roll and just ran both the units down. Right here, you can see the huge knight bus of Knights Errant. They just slaughtered a ton of slaves. And then over there, you can see the Peg Knights have managed to drive off, and they beat that Doom Wheel and drove it off. But it's this next picture you see, it's very fast. One thing about Doom Wheels is they flee and pursue 3d6, so they're very tough to catch. So the Doom Wheel lost combat, was wounded, but got away. But still, I think that at least that was going for her.